At the end of the day, you're only as strong as your weakest link. If your weakest link is bringing drugs in the office, like he's not coming in the office.
You got to be passionate about what you're doing, and you got to put it out into the universe.
I give them a string of numbers, which is their birthday, and they give me a string of numbers, which is their social.
I'm never scared of putting money into myself and my business.
As long as you know what you're talking and you can deliver that with conviction, you're going to put the client in the best position possible. They're going to trust you.
To a new agent who has no money, talk me through what you would suggest for a lead strategy.
First thing, and I'll talk a lot about what I did, because
Yeah.
I was in a similar situation 2 years ago. First thing I did was I set a goal, right?
Okay.
Not an income goal, not an expense goal, a goal on how much I could spend on leads. So I guess it is an expense goal.
Okay.
But how much can I spend on leads a week? And I set that goal as like, I want to do $300 a day.
Okay.
Right? It took me 2 months to get to that point.
You set that goal day one when you were all maxed out
when
everywhere.
I walked in.
Yep.
Because where I came from, you couldn't buy leads. So, like, that opportunity was the opportunity. It was like, you could buy leads.
Yeah.
So, it's like I wanted to get as many as I could. I understood lead flow equaled deposit.
Okay.
So, I started immediately running those, got some money from there, didn't pay off any of my credit cards or anything like that. They were already maxed out, couldn't get any worse.
What'd you spend on your first lead purchase? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was $1,200 something dollars.
$1,200.
Yeah, and it was split up. So, it was like $5,000 total, but split by 3.
Okay. What'd you buy for leads?
Just final expense mailers.
Old, new stuff?
Old, just the oldest ones you could get. Well, second oldest, because the oldest ones you can get are like 20 years old.
Yeah, you don't want those. So
Yeah,
you were paying, what, $5 a lead or something?
Yeah, it was $5 to $8.
$5 to $8. And on average, how old were they?
6 months to a year.
Okay.
2 years after that.
Yeah. And you've obviously called on new leads, right? You've been doing that forever now. What's the biggest difference between calling on leads that are 6, 8 months, year old versus leads that are a day or an hour old?
So, old leads, the only difference is you're introducing yourself a lot longer.
Okay.
You know, I'm here from here. You did this then. You know what I mean? Like, do you remember filling this out? You have to take the 10, 15 minutes to get over that step to actually sell it.
Okay.
Whereas with the new leads, it's like, hey, you filled this out 5 minutes ago. I was calling you.
Right. Yeah, I don't remember. Like, dude, you're just on. What are you
It's
talking
like,
about?
what stuck out in the video that made you put your information in? Well,
Yeah.
this. Well, now I have a selling point. I didn't even have to find it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who's your beneficiary? Oh, it's on here.
Yeah.
I don't have to find it. I'm like, so you wanted Amanda to get that money if you passed away, right? It's done.
Right.
Whereas before, it's like, okay, now I see you didn't list a beneficiary. Who would be the beneficiary if something didn't happen? And then you got to use it later down. So it's like instead of having to collect ammo to shoot, you get a gun with ammo in it.
Right.
Is how I refer to a new lead. So that's the biggest thing that I notice is like when you have all the resources, the job gets easier.
Yeah.
You know, if you're cutting a tree down with your bare hands, it's going to take a lot longer
Right.
than if you had an axe.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference is you just have better tools.
Correct. It's almost, and then going from old leads to new leads, it's like going from an axe to a chainsaw.
Right.
You can still do it with the axe, dude, but it's going to take you a little longer.
100%.
And I think that was always our thing was it's just going to take you longer to book the same amount of appointments, right? If I have 300 old leads and you got 300 new leads, you're probably going to get your appointments quicker.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if I put in the effort, I can get the same amount of appointments.
And that was the one thing I did different than a lot of people. So with the fresh leads, I will book an appointment. But
Okay.
with the old leads, I call to close simply because I noticed with those leads, if you book an appointment, it's to avoid you. So it's like you call them, they know not to answer. But if they're like, hey,
Right.
can you call me later? Yeah, I'll call you later. You just hang up on them. Like, what just happened? When you call them later, they won't remember.
Correct.
So it's like that's what I turned into start doing. Because like you get 100 fresh or aged leads, I should say, not
Yep.
fresh. I call them fresh leads still.
Right.
You get 100 fresh leads a day.
Well, they're fresh to you, right?
Yeah, brand new to me.
Yep.
So run through those. You probably get 2-3 sales out of that,
Mm-hmm.
and then you come back through and you call all those people that you did talk to but didn't have time. It's like now you got another 1 or 2 sales out of it.
Right.
So that's the big thing I like to do is just run the leads while I can, and then after that take care of whoever didn't have time.
Got it. How long were you buying predominantly older leads for?
Up until January, so 2.5 years. Basically.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
And you sold, what was your best month in those 2.5 years?
Best month it was like 38,000.
38,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. But low lead cost,
Right.
right? High profit.
Yeah.
And did you set up all your agents on older leads?
That's a whole agency did it.
That's all you guys
Everyone. Yeah, we ran bronze internet leads and the cheapest mailers until the mailers went up in price
Sure.
at some point, which wasn't a problem. But
Right.
at that point, we just switched fully over to bronze internet leads.
Yeah. And how did you, because a lot of this, dude, to me, there's two things that have remained true in this business since I've joined it. Attitude and activity.
Yeah.
You manage those two things, you can have success.
Right.
And it sounds simple, but it's not. Like a lot of things that you just said right there, people won't even pick on. I get 100 fresh leads. You didn't say brand new. You said fresh.
Mm-hmm.
They're older leads,
Right.
but to you, they're fresh. But if you got that same batch of leads and you said, I'm getting 100 old-ass leads, man, they probably suck. Your results won't be the same.
Not at all.
Because it starts up here. So it's all in how you're talking about it, how you're presenting it. So if I'm a brand new agent, I know nothing. I'm John Dude. I'm broke as dog shit. I'm trying to get some leads. How are you walking me through this process and getting me ready for the field, explaining to me that I'm buying old leads, what I should expect? Like, how do you set up a new agent?
So one, I don't tell them they're old. I'm like, dude, these are fire.
Okay.
Like, these are the leads. And I purposely do get them like the worst ones.
Yeah.
I tell them, and I'm like, dude, it's the best thing.
Yeah.
You got people that have insurance that they've already bought. You can sell them more. You know what I mean? You have people who don't have insurance. You sell them insurance. And that's the biggest thing is before they even get on the phones, I mean, we do a whole boot camp with them. So we have Jay's website. We have my website. And then we also have the website on FFL America that we use.
Yeah.
We have them run through all those trainings before they have a agent number.
So before they even touch a lead, they're going through all this training.
Yeah, and we purposely do this while they're waiting during onboarding.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So they're already working full time.
Okay.
After that, they are prepared. They know what a phone call is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
They have all the scripts memorized. That's when we get them these leads and we tell them that, like, hey, here's a fresh lead pack. Never say it's old or anything. Like, if anything, I'll say 3 to 6 months old. Maybe like a couple years old. But, say things like that. And the biggest thing is walk through it with them. Like, when I have a new agent, they sit right here.
Yeah.
And what it looks like is not like you mute the phone every time you're not talking. Say they throw him a curveball, I tell him what to say, he repeats it.
Right.
And then I do this funny thing where it's like, all right, and like sometimes you have someone just panics and they're like, I'll like take the phone and I'll mimic their voice. And and it works is the funny part. And it's like just showing them that it's not necessarily about what you're doing, it's the confidence behind it.
Yeah.
Then you get on the phones and say just about anything.
Right.
You'll sell them.
Absolutely.
It's just how you're saying it.
Yep.
And that's what I show from day one.
Yeah. And this goes back to that mindset. If you tell your agent they're old leads and they're not good, then you're setting them up for failure.
Right.
I'm not saying lie. Don't tell them they were filled out yesterday. But, hey, this is fire batch. Dude, it's great leads.
Yeah.
Best leads you're going to get today. Right? Like, who cares?
Not wrong.
You're not wrong. They are the best ones you're going to get right now, bro. And why did you wait 2.5 years to start buying newer leads?
It was working.
Yeah.
Till then. It was working till then. And really, it would still work. But the big difference, and this is what I do to transition people into, which we'll get in a second, but it still does work. The only difference is you're putting in more hours and you're not getting as big of results, and that's the big difference. And then what actually made me switch was retention. That's what made me switch. Is I wanted those policies to start staying on the books. Because before this, we were sitting at like 70-something retention. Got it. Not good at all. So where we got... Because of the leads or because of the products you were selling? Or both? I would say, the leads and the products aligned. Yeah. You're calling people on Social Security, disability. Correct. You got final expense. It's the only thing they're going to qualify for. Right. Yeah, we don't have a lot of old IUL leads. Right. Yeah. You got the social medias, but they run up quick. Right. So that's the thing is, you're working with people that could only qualify for certain things. Mm-hmm. You got the death claims paying out. You got things like that. People are falling off. Yeah. Whereas when you work with somebody in their 20s who wants something that's going to build them equity over the next couple of years so they can purchase a house down the road. Right. These are people that are doing it for another reason and that are going to keep that policy over other bills. Right. Because I've noticed if you get a $20 policy and something happens, that's the first thing you're going to cancel is your life insurance. But if your life insurance is $1,000, you're not going to cancel that first. Correct. Yeah. There's a lot more value in that. Yeah, you're going to cancel your car wash membership or something. Yep. You said to me before we got on, I was asking you about struggles, right? So a lot of times people do these podcasts, John, and they talk about all the best stuff, right? Mm-hmm. It's great and it's perfect and it's this and it's that. I'll tell you one thing, we are not perfect as a company. We don't strive to be. We just strive to get better every day and be the best place for a life insurance producer. Yes, sir. That was our goal when we launched this in 2014. And I still believe to this day that we are the best spot for a producer. 100%. Right? And we're the best spot for a manager as well, but you got to produce first. I asked you what's one of the biggest struggles that you've dealt with recently, and you said moving from older leads to new leads, right? Yeah. Why is that? So the big thing is when people get adapted to a certain thing, they seem to stay it's like an evolution. Mm-hmm. You don't adapt every time there's a new generation. It's over generations. So, when you go into getting used to paying, okay, I'm paying $4,000 for leads a month, and I'm selling 20,000. You get addicted to that, and then when it's like, okay, now it's time, let's make that lead flow $12,000 a month. Hey, well, what are you talking about? I just spent all that money that I made because I'm used to only having to spend $4,000. And like that's when you got to slowly get people into it, and it takes time. And you'll have people start spreading negative stuff. Like I had this one kid walking around the office who he was broke. You know, he spent his money very miserably. You know, he was out partying every weekend. Like I was telling him not to. You know, having a good time with his life. Nothing wrong with that. But you know, when it comes down to it, he's walking around the office telling people, well, it's not going to work because I can't hire people because I don't know because I'm running these old leads and they're not good and I'm stuck on the bronze leads and I just can't get into high intent. And it's like, dude, now your whole team's waiting for something that they can't get.
Correct.
And it's like, dude, all it took was you running bronze one more month hardcore. Mm-hmm. Like set the tone hardcore and you're going to be able to get that. But instead now all your people are becoming weasels. They're trying to get out of the business because you scared them.
Correct.
And that's the big thing. It's like some people get scared. Some people just aren't willing to invest the money. They don't think they'll get the money back.
Yeah.
Then other people just do it right away.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it takes those other people that did it right away to show the people, you know, what it takes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's why it takes so long, and that's why it's a process. Is because not only did we all just move from Tampa to Illinois, it's, you know, everyone paid at least $5,000, bought out of leases. Mm-hmm. Now they're on top of that. They're expected to get into higher intent leads, which is like it shouldn't be an expectation from me. It should be a goal. It should be what they want to do. And that's the biggest thing is like a lot of people, you got to change their mindset to I want to do this from I have to do this. You know what I mean? Like I don't tell people they're employees, they're my agent, things like that. I always say business partner.
Correct.
My business partner. It's like because at the end of the day, we were all just agents.
Yeah.
Now we have an office. Now we have a business.
Right.
We're business partners.
Did you lose some agents during this transition?
Yeah. So we lost about $260,000 at premium.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of agents.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I told most of them not to come.
Yeah.
So like that's the thing, and I'll touch on this is, you know, when you have agents coming in doing the wrong thing, same thing with this kid who's scaring the crap out of his team.
Yeah.
It's like, don't come in then. Because at the end of the day, you're only as strong as your weakest link. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if your weakest link is bringing drugs in the office, like, he's not coming in the office.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like that's not something we're going to let happen.
Well, he produces a lot, John.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I'd hope so. But no, but that's the thing. It's like, you could do that somewhere else then.
Right.
It's not my problem. Or
Absolutely.
he could have worked virtual and minded his business, and it would have never been a problem.
Correct.
But he didn't. So, like, that's the thing. And then, like, when we get rid of people, it's not necessarily performance based.
Yeah.
I'll take like this one my football coach always said. He's like, I'll take the kid with no experience rather than a kid who was trained wrong.
Absolutely.
Because it's form. You can make the form, but you can't change form. And like that's the big thing. And I always like to get rid of the people that do cause harm to our team, whether they know it or not. And I'll sit them down first, say, hey, this is what you're doing. This is what's causing it to our team. Second, they say it's someone else's fault. They're gone.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? We don't need the premium that much.
Yeah. Because you're running a business. You're not running a damn friendship club.
Right.
Like, well, I'm going to hurt his feelings. Who gives a shit? We're not here to hang out.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if we work together for a long time and become friends, that's great.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be the goal. Like, I need to make as many friends as possible. No, you're running a business.
100%.
These are not employees. These are business partners, 1099, independent contractors. They don't have to be here. You don't have to have them here. You don't have to have any damn reason to terminate. They're independent contractors.
Yeah.
Can't just fire an employee for no reason.
It's interesting because it's an evolution every year of what we do. And like you said, it's changed dramatically. You know, this past year, the IUL leads have been huge. And what I've done, because I do a lot of social media, is making my own informative videos, right? And being very consistent and putting a lot of those out. And then utilizing a lead vendor that basically will take my videos. They'll kind of manage your meta, right?
Yep.
And then you'll control to them what your ad spend is. And that's the thing. Like, you just got to play that game with, okay, like, maybe I want to do 150 a day. Maybe I want to do 200. Maybe I want to do 300, whatever. And then what's cool about when you do your own videos, and I would encourage anybody, and I get it, not everybody wants to be in front of the camera.
Sure.
What's cool is they're then seeing you,
right?
And then they booked with you through, you know, I have it connected to a calendar, and there's like an AI component, right? They fill out the lead, they go through it, they book on my calendar. Now they see you, they know you, you get on the phone, so you have instant credibility.
Right.
And what's also cool is I'll get a lot of people that follow me from the ad, and I'll get notifications on Instagram. Hey, you know, John Smith followed you from the ad. Doesn't necessarily mean that he booked an appointment yet.
Right.
But now he can go back and he can see the 15 videos I did on IULs.
Yeah.
And maybe one day he's going to scroll and then he's going to book on my calendar. So it became like this whole, like, you got to change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
In addition to doing some of the in-home. But the reality is the mortgage game dried up a little bit.
Sure.
And I think at the time, to stay consistent, I was like, all right, like if I don't do something, I'm not going to be able to write what I wrote.
Right.
This is no way.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So I think you got to be willing to be like, all right, let me change a little bit. Let me tweak some things. I don't got to like completely reinvent the wheel. And that's kind of what I did. And it really has broadened things for me. And I feel like you can actually write more.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
crazy.
you're on pace to write more.
Yeah.
And like we talked about on your True Talk, work, wise, you're doing about the same, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you're home now, you're on the phone more.
Yeah.
But it's not like you didn't double your schedule, your hours work to have this uptick. But the pace you're on now, you'll do about $300,000 more than you did last year.
Yeah.
With the same amount of effort, pretty much. IUL premiums are obviously higher.
Yep.
You probably got tired of hearing everyone scream about IULs for the past year. I think you wrote some, but dude, everyone's IUL. Virtual telesales, and you were still in the home. But it's a big adjustment, especially selling at the level you're selling, because it's a whole different setup.
Yeah.
Going from in-home to remote, going from predominantly mortgage and some final to IULs, it's not as drastic, but you think about like Netflix when you're old enough to remember the old Netflix, right?
Mailing in your
DVDs, bro. Yeah, my DVDs are here, It was so cool. Oh shit, they showed up. But when they were at their peak, dude, they were killing it. And they decided to literally cannibalize their own company.
Yeah.
Right? Shut down the I mean, I'm sure they still do some, nothing like they did. They moved all their efforts to streaming. Everybody thought they were crazy. And look at them now. You got NFL on there. You got WWE on there, plus the movies. I mean, they're opening up another like movie studio to make their own films and shows. But they had to be smart enough to know that, dude, this is what we're doing is great, but that's not going to last for the future.
Correct.
And it's kind of like, here, we've been saying that about mortgage leads forever. Direct mail.
Yeah.
Dude, the younger the people are, the less they go to the mailbox. Everything's electronic, right? It's almost weird. Sometimes here I'm like, dude, why are you handing me paper?
Yeah.
Just email it
exactly.
I'll pull it up on my tablet. Don't hand me no damn paper.
Yep.
But that's where we're heading to. So do you keep fighting this? I mean, dude, what's the most expensive mortgage lead you ever paid for?
Oh, God, maybe a little over 100 probably.
$100?
Yeah, $100.
Yeah. So it's like, when does that get to the point where it don't make sense anymore?
Yeah.
Right?
It's interesting because what I actually did on my mortgage leads to that point, I added probably 2 years ago where they can call into me, right? And then I added a QR code.
Yeah.
So they can scan it and you can get that digitally. So now you're getting it 3 ways. So that kind of helped a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. What percentage of the responses do you think were coming through either the QR code or calling you versus sending the mailer in?
Probably in like 50%-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely.
It's a lot, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, you're definitely getting a lot less.
People that you would
mails.
not have been able to speak to if you didn't have that on there.
Correct.
Right? Some people still are going to send them in, but it's not going to be like it was.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we started FFL, the return rate was about 1%, 1.5% if you're lucky.
Yeah.
God knows what it is now if you're charging $100 a lead. So it's like, what do you do? Keep, and we've had people that I just keep getting my mortgage leads, Mike. Like, all right, dude, you're gonna be out of business soon.
Correct.
It's like when we adjusted the bonus program. Well, if we kept paying what we were paying, we wouldn't be sitting here right now because it was too much.
Yep.
I mean, y'all loved it, but but we need to be in business. But making that change, it's a drastic change. But now your sales are what, 50% IUL?
Yeah.
Yeah. So walk me through this whole process. You got these videos.
Yeah.
You're recording them, educational IUL stuff. You're putting them out. You got a company. Can we say a company?
Yeah. Clever Closers.
Clever Closers. Yeah. You give them your content.
Mm-hmm.
They schedule. They put it out. They're managing your meta ads, so Facebook ads, whatever. You're coming up with the lead spend, whatever it is. And then how are you getting in touch with these clients? Like, what do they do once they get the video?
Yeah, so they will fill out like an ad, or fill out a lead form, and then I have like an AI. So they'll go in from that into the AI. In the AI, like a messaging system. Okay. I have it set up where, you did the lead. Here's the text that you're going to get. It has like my business card with a picture on it, my calendar. Hey, we know you had an interest in the IUL. Book on Steve's calendar for 15-minute consultation. Mm-hmm. Let's say they do it. Cool. That goes in my Calendly, goes on my Apple Calendar. And let's say they don't. The next day, they're going to get like I have like a string of messages. They're going to get a second one. Yeah. Hey, we noticed you didn't book on the calendar, blah, blah, blah. To the point where they're either going to book something or they're going to say, stop messaging me.
Right.
And then
either one's fine.
and then you wake up and you got 16, 17 people booked on your calendar.
Yeah.
You're probably going to talk to half of them, right?
Yep.
You're going to have some reschedule. So like when I sit down now to dial on a Monday, Thursday, I still run, let's call it 10 to 15 in-home a week, give or take.
Okay.
I sit down. I know I have these appointments that I'm calling. If they no-show or whatever, I go back through the list of all the people that got messaged and didn't respond.
Yeah.
I call them manually from my main number. If they don't respond, I have a manual text. It's in my notes on my phone.
Yeah.
I cut and paste it. So now they get it again.
Got it.
Where they can book it.
Yeah.
And then in between, I'm booking in-homes.
Right.
So it's just like this constant on the phone.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, the day goes by, you talk to 6 people, you sold 3, you wrote $7,000, you booked 4 appointments for tomorrow in home.
Yeah.
And you just, that's it.
Right.
Like, not complicated.
No, I mean, any agent with us can do this.
100%. You just got to do it.
Just got to do it. Who's doing is this what's it called, closer?
Clever Closers.
Clever Closers.
Is
They're doing
managing.
the drip. They're doing all that stuff, or you're setting.
They're doing the managing the ads
Yep.
on Meta.
Okay.
And they'll also, it's good, they'll give me like a script of like what they think, will perform well in an IUL, and
Yep.
then I just, make the video, whatever. And then
So they're even helping you out with the content.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And any agent can call them up and
Yeah.
use them.
Yep. And if you're on my team, I have people on my team that can use my videos too, which is cool.
Yeah.
So then the AI deal, it's basically like a chatbot. type of
yeah.
thing. And you can have it where it's it'll be an AI interaction
Yeah.
where they're actually trained on IULs to answer questions.
No shit.
Sometimes I have it on, sometimes I don't, because you know how the AI is. Sometimes
Sure.
it's not there yet.
Right.
But you just basically set up the drip of what you want them to get every day.
Okay.
So like, let's say it's day 4, hey Bob, we saw you were interested in this, are you still interested or not? Cause we'll take you off the list or whatever.
Yeah.
Or it'll say like, hey, are you interested for you and a family member? So it's just like this constant, like you're just dripping
Right.
on people.
Which is what you don't get with direct mail, right? Like,
Right.
I sent you a mailer. You either open it or not, right? A lot of people don't even open the shit.
Right. And it's sitting there.
Then sitting there. Then you fill it out. You may not even put it back in the envelope. Like, there's so many steps to take, and we're not like calling you going, hey, you didn't fill it out or dripping on you. But through the internet, through technology, you can drip on these people almost until they book an appointment, or like you said, leave me alone. So
And
they're booking the appointments themselves, number one. You're dripping on them, so the ones that don't book initially can come back to book. You also have a list of people that you're calling, right? So there's like 3 or 4 different ways for them to even get on your schedule.
Correct. And that's the thing that I think people always forget. At the end of the day, there's going to be, quote unquote, a hard work behind this.
Yeah.
And I like to tell people, like, selling insurance is not hard. Like, I love the agents that says, well, if I get in front of people, I can sell like nobody's business.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But if you suck at getting in front of people, like, so I always tell people, I'm like, I focus on contact.
Yep.
I want to get in contact with you one way or another. If I get in contact with you, then yes, I can get you on my calendar and then I can sell you. But I work really, really hard and always have on the contact side of things.
Yeah.
And this, obviously, the technology is going to help you a little bit in this case. And what's also cool is when you're now running this stuff through your Meta, people will connect and follow you on Instagram. You'll get notifications. John Smith followed me from my ad, and then they start seeing all the content you're doing.
Right.
So maybe they weren't ready then.
Yeah.
But in 3 months when they see one of my videos, oh yeah, let me message that guy.
Right.
And if I see that they did, I connect with them. I'll send them a personal message, whatever. It's just this, you got to be constantly putting out to connect with people.
Yep. And on your Instagram or all your socials, what are you putting out for content? Just IUL stuff? Anything else?
I do everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I like to be, like, obviously a lot of recruitment stuff.
Yep.
I think you do a lot of lifestyle stuff. I think you need to be transparent and talk about what you like, what you do.
Yeah. Any personal stuff, or is it just
I do tons of personal
Yeah,
stuff.
family
like,
stuff.
Family stuff, like sports stuff. Like, I've always kind of been, I don't know whether it's right or wrong, like, I'm going to be me. I had this dude a couple months ago, he books through the ad. He gets on the call with me and he starts talking to me about, like, the Dolphins. He's like, man, I see you do a Dolphin podcast. He's like, you do that and you do insurance. He's like, that's really, really cool. Like, can you get me the IUL now? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, I'm glad you like my stuff. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get people that don't like you. That's the way it works. Sure. It's the name of the game.
Yep.
But you just got to put it out there. Like, build build a brand,
Right.
and then people are going to be attracted to it, and if they're not, like, they're not the people for you.
Right. Forget about ad spend. So if I'm brand new and I'm hearing this, I'm like, dude, I don't have a lot of money yet.
Yeah,
I'm trying to,
sure.
like, what is this going to cost me to set up and run? Not the ad spend, everything else.
The management fee using this particular company is like $1,000 a month.
Okay.
So it's not like
A couple
astronomical.
policies,
Yeah, it's
one
not
maybe.
astronomical. Yeah, and the reality is too, like, you can, if you get into this and you don't have a lot of money, start doing some content, and putting some stuff out.
Correct.
Like,
Oh, you can manage it by yourself.
yeah,
early
you
on
totally
if
can.
yeah.
Like, get people you got to be passionate about what you're doing, and you got to put it out into the universe.
Yeah.
That's literally what all these people are doing on social media that are entrepreneurs and they're
Right.
building brands. They're passionate about it. They put it out there, and they put it out there on the regular.
Yeah. On a weekly basis, how many appointments are you getting by just people scheduling themselves, not the ones you're calling?
Probably. Okay, that's a good question. Probably 35-ish,
Okay.
maybe.
What's
yeah.
your ad spend?
I think I have it at 200 a day.
200 a day,
Yeah.
35 automatically booked, and then through the other, whatever rest of the process.
Yeah, like
you
ones that I
calling them
call or
stuff, how
whatever.
many you add into that?
Probably another 5 to 10.
5 to 10. Okay,
Yeah.
so 45 or
Yeah.
so appointments
Yeah.
just doing this.
Right.
Is that the only leads you're getting right now?
So that's that, and then I still have some of my mortgage mailers.
Okay.
I had cut back, like I took one vendor out.
Yeah.
So I think I have like 2 mortgage mailers. They're not crazy high. And like I said, I added the QR code. I added the phone number to call me.
Yeah.
So then that's garnering me, whatever, call it 10 to 15
Okay.
in homes a week, give or
So
take.
what do you run? 50 appointments? What's your appointment goal for the week right now?
It's funny. I honestly never count the
Yeah.
virtual ones. I really don't.
Yeah.
I only, in my notes, I always count for the week what I ran in home. But
Okay.
I mean, I guess if we're looking at it that way, it's got to be like 45, 50, probably. Something
Okay.
like that.
How do you choose which ones you're running in home?
Well, the mortgage ones I call, those I always book.
You always run at home.
Yeah. Unless I shouldn't say that. The other day I actually had one that was virtual.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why it was funny. Saturday I had 1 in-home appointment and I had like 9 virtual. And I'm like, all right. And the guy was like an hour and a half from me. I'm
Yeah.
like, am I going to drive this dude for an hour and a half from me? So I called him at the time. I go, hey, man, we're just going to do this over the phone. And he's like, oh, cool. And then I
Yeah.
sold him $150 a month.
Right.
Whatever. So, like, for the most part, I'm going to run those in-home. But you got to weigh out the options. Was I going to drive 3 hours
Correct.
when I got 9 appointments I can sit in my office? Even if I sell them, it's not worth it.
No.
So every day is different. You got to weigh out the options,
Yeah. Of all the ways to sell, virtual, telesales, in-home, which one do you like the most?
I really liked the in-home.
Okay.
The stamina that it took to produce at a high level in-home was
Oh, it's a grind.
it was a grind. It was exhausting.
Yeah.
I probably put in as many hours phone sales,
Yeah.
but it's not that much of a grind.
Right.
I mean it.
So you put in the same amount of hours pretty much that you were in your first few years here.
Right.
And I mean, let's just look at 2022. You did 435,000.
Right.
You were in home then?
I was. Yeah, I think I was.
For most of it?
2021. Yeah, most of it. Yeah.
Okay. Last year, we already said 530. So you did
Right.
100K more
Right.
on the phone.
Yeah.
And you'd say you worked about the same amount of hours?
Yeah, I would say that I did. I mean, obviously, the quality of life is better.
Yeah.
Because you can take a break, go have a cup of coffee with your wife. You can have
Right.
lunch. My wife works at home as well, and so it's a better work-life balance. I can say hi to my kids. I can have dinner. I can go and work more if I want to. Right.
Yeah.
But usually I'm done by 6 because I'll start early and I'm done by 6.
Right.
Yep.
Before we got on here, you talked a little bit about the rhythm of the close, you called it.
Right.
What does that mean?
So there's a way that I ask the health questions in order to have them give me a string of numbers that I want.
Okay.
Which is their social, their driver's license number, and their bank account number.
So you get that through the health questions.
Right. Yeah, I get
Okay.
that through the health questions. Yeah.
At what point do you ask the health questions in your appointment?
So basically, right away.
Okay.
So my presentation is.
And I'm sorry, you're doing one call close, setting
Yeah,
appointments?
one call close. So
Mostly vet leads.
I do call to close as well, but I do one call close mostly on appointments that are already
Okay.
set. And so the presentation is very simple. As I talked about, Jack has helped me simplify everything. So my presentation is basically what this talks about is the veterans life insurance, and of course the VA gives us a stipend and to provide a little bit for final expenses for the family.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now, do you have any health issues, high blood pressure, diabetes? And then they go into the health questions, right? So just role play that with me.
Okay.
Do you have any health issues, high blood pressure, diabetes?
Yeah, I have high blood pressure.
Okay. You probably take lisinopril for that.
Yes.
Or something. Okay, great. And any other medications?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. And what medications were you taking that you've stopped taking in the last few years?
I used to take metformin for diabetes.
Oh, okay. When did you stop taking that?
About 3 years ago.
Okay, great. Now I know he has diabetes because that's going to be on the app and it's going to come up that way, right? So, okay. And then and what's your height and weight?
6'1", 260.
Okay. Any surgeries over the last 10 years?
Nope.
Okay. Any major, thank goodness, no heart attack, stroke, cancer, nothing like that over the last few years.
Nope.
Okay, perfect. So obviously, this talks about the burial costs. Now, wait, what's your date of birth?
December 26, 85.
Oh, okay, perfect. So these plans are normally all whole life insurance, meaning that they never expire, the rates never go up, the coverage never decreases, and it builds a cash value. But you're young and healthy enough that you could possibly qualify for an IUL or a term policy for a higher amount of coverage. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So based on what you're telling me, you should be able to get $100,000 or more in coverage. Now, do you have any other life insurance in place currently?
Nothing.
Okay, nothing. Okay, and you didn't have anything recently or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay. And who is your beneficiary?
My wife.
Okay. So I would imagine you want to make sure that your wife is taken care of if anything happens to you.
Correct.
You guys have like a mortgage or any other
Yeah,
obligations?
we have a mortgage.
Oh, okay. How much do you owe on that?
$250.
Okay, perfect. So if God forbid something happened to you, how easy would it be for your wife to pay that mortgage every month?
Should probably get a couple months, and then it would be very hard after that.
She'd be suffering.
Yeah, probably 2-3 months. Yeah.
Okay, so she's got about a 3-month cushion, and then she might have to either sell the house in a fire sale or move out of the house or
probably
or get
sell
a
it.
roommate or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, so it'd just be a real hardship.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you just want to make sure that if anything happens to you, that the mortgage is taken care of and more, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So, based on what you're saying, you could do anywhere from from $250,000 to $500,000 in coverage.
Okay.
And if you did $250,000 on a 20-year term plan, it would be about $150 per month. If you did $300,000, it would be about $220 a month. If you did $500,000, it'd be about $400 a month. So, which one of those would fit your needs and your budget?
Probably the $200 a month.
$200 a month?
Yeah.
Okay. So if that fits your needs and your budget, then all I can do is just ask you a few questions, submit the request to the carrier, and let's get you approved. Okay?
Cool.
Okay, perfect. So do you have a middle initial?
Yes, A.
Okay, great. And then what is your address?
10 Main Street.
Okay, perfect. So that's 10 Main Street in Uncasville, Connecticut. And what's the zip code?
06380.
Okay, 06380. Okay, perfect. I always repeat everything that they've said back to them, which creates confirmation bias.
Right.
And they think, oh, he's reading me information. I already read him. He has my information. Okay, great. And then who is your beneficiary?
My wife, Christina.
Okay, Christina.
Yep.
Same last name,
Yes.
Sizer?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And what's her date of birth?
9/10/85.
Okay, so Christina Sizer, 9/10/85.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now, the way that the underwriting for these works is it's all electronic. They used to require blood tests and physicals and a nurse visit for these types of plans, but now they're all non-medical. So there's no blood tests or physicals. They just check your health history with your social, your driving record with your driver's license, and then they need to know how you're going to do the bank draft monthly. But it's all based on age and health as far as approval goes. And that's pretty much the process that they use for all the different insurance carriers now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as your health goes, in the last 10 years, have you had any heart attack, stent placement, congestive heart failure, atrial fibrillation, defibrillator machine, or pacemaker?
No.
Okay. No cancer or stroke?
Nope.
Okay. No kidney or liver disease?
Nope.
Okay. And then I got your date of birth as 10/5/1985.
Yes.
Okay, great. And then what's your social?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, perfect. And then any major driving infractions, felony DUI, anything like
Nope, I ran over a squirrel last week, but that was about it. Yep.
Perfect. And then what's your driver's license number?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, perfect. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't repeat the social, which I should have.
Right.
Okay, perfect. And then who is your doctor?
Dr. Jones.
Okay. And right in your city there?
Yes.
I'm Googling Dr. Jones in their
Yep.
city. Okay, so I got Dr. Jones at 123 Main Street in Uncasville, Connecticut. Is that the right one?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So that's more confirmation bias. And when was your last checkup with him?
About a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he said everything was good?
Yeah, it was a physical.
health?
Everything was good. Yep.
Okay, perfect. That's great. Okay, great. And then and then as far as the bank draft goes, which bank do you want to use for the premium payment?
Charter Oak.
Okay, perfect. And what's the routing and account number?
1111467.
Yeah, perfect. So when I do it in that rhythm,
Yep.
it's almost like a call and response.
Yeah.
And I get to, I give them a string of numbers, which is their birthday, and they give me a string of numbers, which is their social.
Right.
And I never give them my credentials.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's my presentation. I haven't even given them my credentials in most instances.
Wow.
Now, I've had people that have balked. And
At what point in that process do they balk typically when they do?
sometimes social,
Yeah.
because they're like, wait, suddenly the spell is broken for some reason.
Yeah. Well, let's do that. So I go, well, what do you need my social for?
Well, obviously, the way they do the underwriting is they used to require blood tests and physicals and a nurse visit for this type of coverage. But now it's all non-medical. So they just use your social for the health background, your driver's license number for your driving record, and then they need to know how you're going to fund the policy monthly. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
How often at that point do they say, yeah, that makes sense, or do they push back more?
So I had one guy. This is the guy that called back while I was driving from Berkeley.
Okay.
And I said, okay, so obviously I've been doing this forever. I'm going to email you out my credentials right now. And as I'm talking to him, I've got everything right on my thing, and I've got his email.
Yeah.
I say, here's my license. Here's all of the information about me. And then he's like, oh, okay, great. I got that. Okay, great. And then what's your social? No, I got to look into this. I'm like, really? Okay. So here is, and then I'm in, it's Philly, right? I'm like, Philadelphia Department of Insurance,
Yeah.
agent lookup. Okay, let's put that, I cut and pasted it into the email. Okay, here's the actual place to look up the agent. And let me walk you through that right now. And he's like, I can't figure this out. He's literally 79 years old. And so I'm like, okay. He's like, I need to do this verification and I'll get back to you. And I'm like, that never happens, dude. You either get it now or you don't get it. And I'm like, so I pushed 3 more times. Like, look, we can at least do the health questions. And in order to do that, they do need your social. And he's like, I'm not going to give it to you. So I'm like, okay, great. Well, you've got all my information. I'm going to put you back on my calendar for this day at this time so that you can verify everything. And then we'll, finish up and see if we can get you approved then. Is that fair enough?
Yep.
4 times, though. I don't let them off the hook for 4.
Yeah.
I close 4 or 5 times, right? And this guy had obviously done a good enough job closing him that he called me back. And so I'm like, oh, so-and-so. Okay, great. And I think I had called him back one more time and got his social and all of that. And then I was like, you got the banking? He's like, oh, I don't have that. I'm like, come on. And so then he calls me back and when he called me back, he gave me the banking. Either he hadn't given me anything else, but he was like, I want to move forward. I'm like, okay, great. What's your bank account? So I basically just went right to that right away. So I had that information. And then when I was able to get to my destination, I called him back and got his social and finished up the application and everything.
Yeah.
But those objections can be so confronting.
Absolutely.
And you want to let yourself off the hook.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I need to think about this. Let me call you back later. No.
Right.
And I don't say it that way. I say, well, the way the program works is if this fits your needs and your budget, then all I can do is just submit a request for coverage to the carrier, and then you can speak to your wife. It takes 5 or 6 days to get approved. And, that way we can make sure that you actually get approved. Does that make sense? Okay, that makes sense. I could do that.
Yeah.
Now you're into the app,
Right.
and you're getting momentum. And then a lot of times with that close, they will balk at the banking,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
You say, well, obviously, I wish I could submit this, but most carriers require a complete application. And as I said at the beginning of the call, we just need your social security number to look up your health background, your driver's license number to look up your driving record, and then they need to know how the policy is going to be funded.
Yeah.
It used to be that we could submit policies without that. But now these insurance carriers get so many policies that they don't even allow us to submit it without a complete application because they want to make sure somebody is actually serious about this.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I just run like high intent dripping leads.
Okay.
Just making sure like my leads are always, there's always some intent behind it. They're always filling out an ad, and they're always constantly coming in at the start of the week.
Yeah. Do you have a lead goal? Like, hey, I need to have this many new leads a week, or
Yeah.
what is that number?
Bare minimum, I'll say like 60 to 90.
60 to 90 leads a week.
60 to 90 fresh new leads a week.
Yeah.
And then I'll dial those downward once, get a couple of sales, and then I'll call them again upward.
Yeah.
And then I'll go down the list again. And then now I know I actually was able to dial through these intentionally. And then I can pass those on to downlines or new people starting off.
Got it.
So that way they can start getting some capital.
So you call them for what, a week, and then pass them on to someone?
Yeah, I'll say like half a week.
Half a week,
And
yeah.
then towards the end, maybe buy like another lead pack or two.
Yeah.
Like I'm never scared of putting money into myself and my business.
Right.
Never. I'm never gonna like hold myself back.
Were you
from
ever
starting.
in the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the start, I was always thinking about what if I don't make a return. Or,
Right. Which is normal.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to kind of break that mentality?
Once I started running like actually higher intent resources,
Yeah.
and then it all kind of flipped a switch, and I started seeing a bigger return, and I never lost money. I always broke even,
Yeah.
or I always gained. So just being able to be confident about myself and like my skill set,
Yeah.
I always know that I'm never gonna be going backwards.
Right.
But I also never look at leads like that anymore. I always look at leads now like there's at least 2, 3, 4, 5 people out of this lead pack, bare minimum, that are going through a financial struggle that I could put them in a better place.
Yeah.
Or they're looking for something more, or they're looking for something that they're throwing money away in. And that's how I look at my resources. I never look at them like, oh, like I might not. Hopefully I make my return this week, or
Right.
like a gamble. Like I know I'm going to help at least a couple people in there. Make
Well,
my
you got to
return.
treat it like a business, because if you treat it like a job, it's easy to get in that mentality of, oh my God, I spent this money. What am I? But if it's a business, dude, it's no different than putting gas in your car, right? You can't go anywhere if you don't have gas.
Yeah.
If you're running a pizza shop, you got to buy dough and food and things like that. Like, you can't go, well, we didn't make enough last week. I can't buy more, food. I can't buy more pizza dough. Well, all right, what are you going to do next week, though, when people come in and order pizzas? You're going to go, I ran out?
Yeah.
You'll be out of business real fast, whatever you're selling. And it's switching that mentality from a job to running your own business. You're your own boss.
Yeah. And I like to use that analogy a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
I always compare this to like the restaurant business. Even
Yeah.
in my sales trainings, just going over the basics. Like you got to have your leads. You got to have your ingredients before you open up shop.
Right.
You got to have a strict schedule. You're going to open up shop at this time, close shop at this time, 7 days a week. And you got to have your resources before people walk through the door,
Yeah.
before you start making those dials. Like you got to have fresh new stuff.
Right.
So I always bring it back to like the restaurant business, or just people like fail to put things into perspective as a business. Like they go into this industry thinking it's like a job.
Mm-hmm.
They put in the bare minimum and get the bare minimum out. Like you got to put more and expect to get more out of it.
Absolutely. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they start off, buy some leads, make some sales, they get their first check or whatever, and they don't buy more leads.
Yeah.
They're like, well, hey, but I bought 60 or whatever. I bought 90 leads last week, Breon. Why do I need new ones? I only made 10 sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then every time you go back to those leads, the chances of making sales is lower and lower. You've already called through them.
Yeah. You're just shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Not constantly like reinvesting into your business.
Right. Then the further you get away from it, now you have even less money. So now it's even hard. Like if you go out, buy some leads, make a couple sales, get paid, and buy leads right away, that's a lot different than, well, I'm going to wait and see. Yeah. Oh, shit, another week's gone by. Now I need to buy more leads. Now I'll put some money. Yeah, but now a whole nother week's gone by. Yeah, a whole nother week of expenses, life, the whole
yeah.
By the time you get to around actually deciding to buy some leads, you ain't got no money left.
100%.
That's why you got to do it right away.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah, new agents, they have struggles with like being proactive about keeping things in like a consistent flow. Like everything's got to be done beforehand. You got to buy your leads before the week starts. You got to map out your week, map out your goals. And that's one thing that's a really common misconception is like you can just show up, go through the motions. Like everything's got to be intentionally done. You got to wake up at a certain time. Everything's got to be like fixed. It's got to stay like that.
Well, let's get into what you're doing on the phone. So are you booking appointments or doing one call closes predominantly?
Me, I don't book appointments.
Okay.
Like I don't dial leads and make my end goal to book an appointment.
Your goal is one call close.
Yeah.
Got it.
And if I have to set up an appointment, like people are always busy.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell them like, hey, wow, what time works best for you when you're home later today? I'll call them later, and then I'll have like at least 6 to 8 appointments for that day or the next day, and typically you'll close it like 2 or 3, and then just redial those people because life comes.
Absolutely,
up, like,
shit happens.
Yeah.
But so if you don't get them right on the spot, you're trying to book them for later that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But once you got them on the phone, before we started recording, you had talked to me a little bit about finding the client's why.
Yeah.
Right? It's a massive part of the sale.
It's huge.
If you don't find that, I mean, by accident, you may close a few, but
yeah,
the odds of those, it also helps after the sale as well. You talked about quality of business a little bit. You mentioned it a few times. That's huge because it's one thing for me to get you to say yes on the spot.
Yeah.
But if you're going to cancel tomorrow, the next day, a week from now, it didn't matter. I left. Now you're in the same position you were in before I called you with no insurance, and now I have a chargeback.
Yeah.
Right? That's not good for either one of us. So talk to me about how you do that. How do you find that why? What is the key to that? What are some things you're looking for? And then how do you know when you, I guess, dug into it enough and now you can move on?
Yeah. So a really big thing is that I tell all my agents is people are not getting insurance for themselves. They're never trying to fill out a whole form and have themselves in mind. Like it's always someone else.
Right.
So that's what you got to dig deep into and what I like to focus on, and also what they have. So after I call up Mary, introduce myself, give her my information, I like to ask them as many questions as possible. Like I'm never going to be the person that's afraid to ask questions. Like I break down if they have anything in force. Are you trying to find something cheaper, Mary? What's your long-term goal? Like what inclined you to even go thus far as picking up a call, writing my information down in regards to this? And then asking like really open-ended questions is what enables the conversation to move forward in a bigger perspective. It opens up the individual's thought process instead of just kind of saying like, do you have anything? You don't think you have enough?
Yeah.
And then if they have stuff already, I like to dig deep into that. So I'll ask Mary, hey, Mary, like, what'd you have in place? Was it something cheap? Was it a big death benefit? Now I know, like, all right, you're probably paying into something that's going to expire. Or are you paying into something that's gone up in premium on you? Or do you have something in force that you were just looking to add on?
Yeah.
And then when people have coverage in force already, I'll always give them 2 options. So I'll always mention, Mary, if you have 20 grand and you're paying 95 on it, you got to set up like a year or 2 ago, and you want more, I'm going to look into getting you more. Like I'm contracted with all these A-rated carriers that offer a really low premium, and I'm going to custom tailor this to you. Like, that's a given.
Yeah.
I'm not biased, so I'm not licensed to put you in a bad position. We're going to find the most optimal coverage for you to go with. But I wouldn't be doing my due diligence myself, not mentioning this to you, because life insurance is cheaper by the thousand. So we could get you more and just set up a bigger policy without you even having to pay more. If that makes sense. So whatever way you go, you're not going to go backwards.
Yeah.
So, and now I have two options. I presented it, and whichever way we go, they're fine with. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's one thing I'm huge on, is always giving people two options and just letting them pick. And I'm always mentioning, like, we're not going to go backwards at all. Like, you're going to be in a better position regardless of the scenario that we go with. And also, when pitching IULs to people, and I know a lot of people run into this, is like they'll go through a whole presentation pitching an IUL, how great it is, and then they get declined.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, oh, what happened to the IUL? I'm going to just look somewhere else, and that's going to approve me.
Yeah.
So before I even step into an e-app for an IUL, after explaining how great it is, how 50% goes into the market, 50% goes to this, it's a bigger death benefit, costs less than a whole life. To put into perspective, I'll always like put into perspective the premiums and things like that.
Yeah.
How much they'll be saving in cash value, whether they keep like the term that they have, or how much they'll be gaining, how much money they'll be saving if they do this. I'm always like a big long-term guy.
Yeah.
Like, I like to break it down, what it'll look like for them long-term, because we don't expect them to pass away tomorrow. And I'll tell them that.
Tonality is important, because if you're on a call with somebody, you can. I've heard multiple people, like mentoring multiple people. I've heard people get off script, and I've heard people that strictly want to follow the script and have poor tonality and don't close.
Right.
And I've had people that don't even follow the script, have the best tonality because they know what they're talking about, and that's why they talk with conviction. Make every single person that answers that phone, it's a close.
Right.
So that's why it's like you have to talk with conviction.
Yeah.
Because you talking with conviction is the exact same way as leading a team. People are going to want to follow you if you believe exactly as to what you're talking about, and you lead with conviction. Like you know what you want. And that's why I think that's important for people to understand. Like, you can follow a script. You can say, like how Breon does it, you know, just does like point to point.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow a script. But at the end of the day, as long as you know what you're talking and you can deliver that with conviction and your tonalities, you're going to put the client in the best position possible. They're going to trust you.
Right. That's why, you know, these live like Zooms, you guys do Zoom rooms?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're so important. Like, you know, when we were in home, I could dial with other agents, but it was hard for me to bring everyone else in the home with me. Right.
Yeah.
Now y'all are doing these Zoom rooms. It's awesome. But what we would get a lot of times is somebody didn't close and they would tell me, Mike, I did exactly what you did. I said the exact stuff you told me to say. Well, like, maybe you did, but how did you say it though?
Exactly.
Because that changes the whole thing. You could I could run an appointment. I could help out someone. I could record it, transcript it, give it to you. You can take that same script, go into another appointment, and not close if your tone's screwed up. So in your opinion, what is the ideal tone? What does that sound
As if
like?
you've done it 100 times. That's my whole approach.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times like I've ran off of like 3 energy drinks for the day.
Yeah.
About a crash. Mary answers the phone. Mary, I'm here to give you. I'm calling you regarding the veterans insurance protection.
Yeah.
You have some time to go over that with me?
Yep.
I could literally fall asleep, like for like 5 seconds, come back up, still talk like I'm doing it, like 100 times again.
Yeah.
And still close.
Yeah, like we used to say on the phone script, sound bothered almost.
Yeah.
Sound like our phone script, we would say that, you know, we mail out a few thousand of these letters a week. You sent yours back, so on and so forth. But I needed to sound like I literally had 1,000 letters on my desk.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you filled this out? Yeah, all right. So anyways, what time are you home? I'm going to be real busy next week. I'll be out there a couple different times, either 10 in the morning or 4 in the afternoon. Which one works better for you? Like, but I almost sounded like I was annoyed to even be talking to you.
Yeah.
But if I'm, hey, how are you doing today? that means I don't have shit to do.
Yeah.
It means I have no clients. It means you're probably my only client, and I sound desperate.
Yeah.
You
You can't come off with like a sales like pitch.
No.
Ever. You literally have to sound like a representative, like somebody who's done it hundreds of times.
Right.
You're calling in as if call somebody from like a hotel.
Yeah.
And that's how you're supposed to sound.
Right.
That literally just like that, like even tone. And then when I start to change it up is more once I'm in the call, I'm already in the process of getting their policy.
Yeah.
I'll get to know my client a little bit more during that.
Right. So you're, rapport building throughout the appointment. Is there like, I always think there's this like misconception of everything needs to be kind of time boxed, right? I need to do my intro. I need to build rapport. Then I need to move on to this. And I always did better when I was building rapport just throughout the appointment. Usually once we're filling out the application.
Yeah.
Because honestly, no offense, but I'm not trying to sit here and get to know these clients if there's no shot at me protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I'm rude or I have other people to meet with.
Yeah.
So may not spend 10 minutes getting to know who you are before we move on. I want to make sure this is something. I want to make sure I find your why, make sure I find something that fits your needs and budget, and then go through that.
Yeah.
Where are you doing your rapport building in your appointment?
The most rapport building for me, it's like it has to do when I'm in the application.
Yeah.
With somebody, because at that point I've asked important questions. I got to know their why they're getting the insurance, final expense, just leaving behind for somebody like specifically. And now when they pick the option in the actual like application part, then I have more, I would say, empty room to fill.
Right. You're waiting for things to load.
Yeah.
You're waiting for a script, whatever the case may be, depending on the app. But there's a lot of downtime in the application where you can do that stuff there.
Yeah.
Do you ever realize like you're getting off track, like maybe your tone's not right and you got to bring it back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
How do you know?
It's just when like literally that would happen when I'm extremely like about to crash.
Okay.
Extremely tired.
End of the day.
End of the day, and I'm like, okay, Mary stuck to the phone. Like I gotta like tone back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'll just like bring it back up, be a little bit like.
You know what you gotta get? You like espresso?
Yeah.
Get an espresso machine.
Yeah,
I just bought one. It's phenomenal. It's like, I'll do like a quadruple shot in the morning and have me. Yeah, it's probably bad for me, but but it's great in the same time. 'Cause you're never tired,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so get one of those. You won't have a problem.
Yeah.
So this idea of like getting too high, like if I get a call from a telemarketer, I know right off the bat.
Yeah.
Right, and your clients are looking for a chink in they're looking for that. You also talked about sounding like you've already done this, whatever it was, 1 million times, been doing. You've only been selling for a little over a year, right?
Yeah.
How do you early on? Because I'm trying to play devil's advocate with like, what would a new agent say?
Yeah.
Well, Monserrat, I've never ran an appointment. How can I sound like I've been doing this forever when this is my first appointment?
I had like a moment of realization when I was in the Tampa office. I was in the cubicle, and I think it was a day where I had purchased leads, and it was taking me forever to like have somebody who like wanted it. It was callbacks.
Okay.
And then I sat down and I listened to everybody on phones. I heard people like across a room on a call.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then I saw the chats going off with sales, and I was like, okay. People want insurance.
Yeah.
There's hundreds and thousands of sales, not even just in like this office space that are being made. There's people all over the other states, because at that point there was other offices too.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can sell like way more than what I.
Were you already selling at that time, or?
I was doing at least like 20 grand.
Okay.
And I was trying to increase it over time, like finding like.
Yeah.
Increasing my investment, and I think there's a lot of people also that can be in that position to where it's like, how can I keep that momentum going?
Mm-hmm.
And if there's days like that happen, how can I change my perspective on that and be more positive about it? So instantly I realized there's hundreds and thousands of people that want insurance, hundreds and thousands of closes being made, deals, like sales, like people just getting set up for their policies. I have to be the one that approaches those calls.
Yeah.
Like I have to be the person that calls them and sets them up.
Yeah.
So everybody that picks up the phone, I'm like, yep, this is my client.